Okay, so I'm going to continue now adding in some walls and then hopefully getting to the point where I can put in the bottom level floor. And so before I go any further here, I'm going to show you some good ways you can make adjustments to these and maybe make this a little bit more rational. And so looking at that section at the back there where we had that dimension, which we know is 19,000, and in reality that is probably the real size. And so if this was going to construction, that would be the size it would need to be. But because this isn't going to be built and we're really just creating presentation drawings here, we can cheat a little bit and make it a bit smaller so that it follows the plan that's been drawn. And that will make it much easier to line up across the levels, and particularly what's really worrying me is the fact that we need to line this wall up fairly closely with the existing wall or the original wall at the front of the building alongside the staircase there. And because we don't have a dimension for that part of the building, that's going to be fairly difficult if we stick with that 19 metre dimension. So I want to bring it down. I'm going to check the measurement just by using the tape measure to see how far I need to bring that down, rather than just tracing the drawing. So it needs to come down, about 700. So, to do that, I want to move the reference plane, but I want the wall to go with the reference plane. So, easy way of doing that is to lock the wall to the reference plane. And a good way of locking things together is to use the Align tool. So that's really the main thing to focus on. So, on the Modify tab, you'll find the Align button. I'm going to click Align, and then I'm going to pick the reference plane first, and then the edge of the wall at the top, which already sits on the reference plane, but I'm going to pick it, and that will give me the lock symbol. So now those two things are tied together. So the wall is locked to the reference plane. So now I can select that reference plane, and I already have a dimension. You can see here how useful it can be drawing in useful dimensions, because then I can select that measurement. It wouldn't come up ordinarily because I've got other things in between, but having drawn it, I've got that overall dimension there ready to go, and I can type in the new size, which is going to be 19,000 minus 700, which of course gives us 18,300. So now you can see it's moved the reference plane and the wall is gone with it. So here you can see we've got a similar situation where there's a wall projecting out from the main line of our building. So I'm again going to copy this reference plane down. In this case, that measurement 1100 should work pretty well. And here, just to make things simple, I'm going to shorten that reference plane because it doesn't need to go the full length of the building. And again, it's good to think about these things when you're setting out your references. And then, finally, I need some new reference planes, which I'll draw from scratch to put in this set out. So you don't need to put reference planes in for all of your walls, but for the exterior walls, it will help you a lot, particularly if they also defining the edge of a floor, which they definitely will be in this case. So here, actually, sorry, I'm not thinking there. That's the edge of the wall. But in fact, now think about it. The edge of the floor would be here, in line with that that line below the doors. So I'm going to move that reference plane across, and then again check that measurement to see if it's a usable figure. And then, I will draw one more just for this little alcove here. And again, just check that measurement. It should work pretty well. So now I should be able to finish off drawing in those remaining walls that enclose this level. So again, using the wall tool, I've got the same wall type as before, and I can just trace. Again, tracing my reference plane, I'm putting the exterior face of the wall on the right side, but the wall is going to the wrong side, so that's where again I can use space. And so here it's a little bit tricky because you can see the wall there at the back, but actually I'm going to draw to the reference plane because that is again the line of the wall that has the doors in it. Then I'll come down to here. That's most likely what we need for construction. Because again, you've got doors here, even though you can't see the wall. If you see doors, then there must be a wall that the doors belong to. So there'd be another wall behind. Oh yeah. Yeah. But if there's an opening, even if it's not, full doors, there's some sort of opening there. So that means there must be a wall above. Well, most likely. If there's not, we can move the wall back, but that's most likely the case. So, so here again, I've got to come to the end of this wall, but I haven't determined this location, so I'm just going to finish the wall before that, and then I think I'll draw in another reference plane again just to establish that last measurement that I need. So here again, just drawing it roughly to begin with. And so if, again, you're wondering why the reference planes are so useful, you can see here this reference plane is also going to give us the edge of the stairs and probably some other things as well. So here again, I've got the reference plane selected and I'm going to change that measurement to 10,700. Seems about right. And then I'll draw in my final exterior wall there. Again, tracing the reference plane and using space as necessary to flip the wall. And then finally, to join these walls together, don't forget the trim to corner tool is your best friend here. We can choose these two walls and easily join them together at a corner. It's much more accurate than trying to draw that wall by sketching it out or something like that. So there we are. So I've got the walls enclosing the area of my floor. But I know that it steps down as well. So looking at the section, here we are. You can see that we've got the level at the front of the building. It's actually a bit unclear here, but it does step down as far as I know at the rear there. Is that right? So you've got this level here. I think that's your main floor level for the ground floor. Maybe it's a little bit lower. Does seem to step down a bit there. Again, not all that clear in these sections, but at least that seems to be showing there. So we've got the level there, which we can assume is the ground floor level. Did anyone confirm that, or this? So that level there, 452.3. Yeah, but you can see here it's higher at the front than it is at the rear. Yeah. Yeah.
It drops down on the ground floor about 800.
Yeah, so it drops,
and
yeah.
then standard sort of 2.7
Yeah.
ceiling.
Yeah.
So that, even with ducting, it's got your 2.4, and then that mezzanine, and then the floor above is equal to the first floor at the front floor.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
there's no drop or slope.
Yeah, oh, in the upper levels, yeah, yeah, sure. So, yeah, so again, if we've got this standard, the standard heights at the back probably will help for the ceiling with those ceiling heights. But then again, here it's not even shown very clearly in the plan where it does change levels.
Yeah.
So it's an old building and it's quite possible for it to step down gradually. But we can maybe assume that it's flat, or we can make it flat. And
It looks flat when you go.
yeah.
There's a slope as you come in. There's a gentle slope as you
Yeah.
come in
Oh, yeah,
through
that's
the
true.
doors.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And then through the two, like what would have been the shop front,
Yeah.
there's a step
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
to get into that.
Right, yeah. So it probably does slope down gradually. And
So
that's,
there might be a very gentle slope, and then the drop.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's that'd be the best option, and it's much easier for you to make it that way. Yeah, yeah, make it flat. Floors should be flat, generally. So yeah, it's not good to have these essentially ramps throughout your building. So So here again, we'll do it flat to begin with. If you need to put the slope in, that can be added later. So here we can say that at least up to here, it's going to be flat, and then it may need to step down into this area, but hopefully you can even have the same floor level up to this point where you've got the stairs there and you've got the option then of maybe stepping down into the area right at the back. So again, we'll just focus on this part first. So for an existing building, particularly, when you make the floors, you need to think about which side of the wall the floor is going to go on. And so you probably all know that in most cases when you've got a slab on the ground, as we probably do here, let's go back to the section, the floor probably goes under the walls, which is what essentially is shown here. So the floor would be supporting the walls, and that's quite standard for a slab sitting on the ground. But for an existing building like this, it's not always going to be the case, for an old building especially, and it's just as likely actually that the walls do extend down and have separate footings with the floor sitting inside. And because we've got those level changes, it's actually going to be easier to make it that way, even if in reality there is a slab on the ground that supports the walls. So we've got those two options for drawing your walls essentially. So the first option that I mentioned, having the slab going under the walls, I'll just click on the floor tool and start showing you that. So that would mean I pick the outside edge of the walls, and then again have the floor sitting under the walls. In this case though, I'm going to put the floors onto the inside edge of the walls, and then I'll extend the walls down afterwards to cover that. So I need to make that decision usually at the beginning, and but again, having looked at the section and knowing the level changes, I think this will be the best method. So here you've got this option, extending to wall to core. It's not really necessary to turn that off here because we're using the inside face, but I still am going to turn it off just in case we change the side of the wall later. So think about that option again. It's more useful with walls that have an obvious core, but often for especially ground floors, you'll just turn that option off. Sure.
So if you leave it off, then that means that when the core of the wall change,
yep,
it will change automatically?
It's more, it picks up the inner part to the wall. So I'll show you with the other walls that have a core a bit clearer. Yeah, sorry. Yep. Yes. Yep. Okay, so here you'll see if I pick the inside face of the wall, the edge of the floor should go there. I'm going to go around and just do this part of the building at the front. So picking those inside edges. And I'll leave it just on the simple wall floor type that's there. Generic 150 is fine for now. But I'm going to edit that. I'm going to go to Edit Type. I've just done the edges, yep. And there, with Core Scale Fill Pattern, I'm going to just choose the solid option. So when we look at this in section, we'll see that. I don't know why they don't have that option turned on initially, but it's an easy one to turn on. Yeah. Okay, so later, if we decide that this floor level continues into this space, we can easily extend this floor, but I'm just going to finish that for now and then show you in section what's happening. So you can start thinking. Yeah, black, leave it black, yeah, that's fine. So now I'm going to go to the section view, and you can see there that it's not showing all of the building. So I'm going to select the section box and the crop region, and extend that a little bit out on each side. But more importantly, I'm going to bring it up so that we can see all of the levels. And now you can see that the bottom of the wall doesn't look right because it stops at the floor level and the floor's sitting inside that. So to make it look more correct, I'm actually going to go to a 3D view. So I'll click on the house icon there to make a default 3D view. So you can see here's the floor at the front of the building. So I'm going to select, well, I'm actually going to select all of the walls. So I'm just going to make a window around everything. Select all the floors and, all the walls and my new floor. I don't want the floor, so I'm going to click on filter and just turn floors off there. So if you're not using that filter option, it's really useful in this case. And then with all those walls selected, I can just go to base offset there and type in a value. So I'll make it minus 500 for now. We might need to bring that down further, but for now, that'll be enough. So you can see that has extended these walls below my new floor. And so when I look at this in section, now it looks much more presentable because we can see, again, the floor is now connected to the walls. Later we'll have a ground that covers a lot of this, so the bottom of the wall there, we won't see that, but we'll still see the wall there going down below the floor, which is important. And then in your 3D views as well. Yeah? Minus 500. Yeah. So again, just quickly to show you, in the 3D views, we don't see the floors sticking out under the walls, which is really important as well. Okay, so again, just focus on the outside shell of the building. And so if you get that floor done, then you might want to have a look at some of the others. And so to continue tracing this floor plan now, and again, you could add in additional walls now as well as the other floors. The problem is that I can't see my floor plan anymore, so do you know the easy way of making that floor plan visible now in this view? You could hide the floor, yeah. There's an easy way. You could just make it wireframe. So down on the view control bar, you've got the graphics options there, and you can simply choose wireframe, which will make the floor transparent. Now, the walls there in black are probably not too bad, but if you need to make them see-through as well, a handy option there is to change the detail level to fine. And what that'll do is hide the coarse pattern, which is the black fill. So now we can see through the walls as well, and that might help when you're going to add windows particularly and things like that that are inside the walls. Okay, so I'll give you some time to work on that, and I'll come around and have a look at any problems you've got.